want to hear your experience with stellar customer support.
Yeah, so I think it's key, Brad. I mean, that's how we built our reputation here in the Northwoods with our boat rental fleet and our snowmobile side, was just going over and beyond where a lot of companies will just table a problem or ignore it and feel like it's going to go away. I think it's important in business, any type of business. You're you're going to offer customer service. It has to be 100%, and then 110 or 120% over and beyond is what people really appreciate. And it also helps with driving revenue in your business because you can then raise your prices to create more opportunity to produce larger tickets and more income and put more in your pocket when you have the confidence of your customer knowing that you always have their back. And you do that over and over again. Obviously, you're going to make some mistakes, but you keep building that trust along the way, and you can have that customer for life. And then that creates that residual income where they keep coming back, which I think is super important.
For sure. So when growing up, like it's funny because we didn't really know each other. Like we probably like on and off knew each other a little bit, but we grew up in the same town, and I always saw your trucks everywhere, and it's just like it was something about it. Like I could just tell that you ran it well. Like from the even just like the branding, like you had the logo on the truck, like the people always seemed like really professional. I heard good things about your company. Like it was just all around. It seemed like you knew what you're doing, and I think that's where like that reputation is built. I think you did pretty good with all that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that brings me back to another point, too. You always have to be careful about who you choose to allow in your family of business. So at Lakeside, we were a family, right? Just kind of like the three of us are a family. And we all have our different roles, and we try to go out of our way for everybody and try to make everybody happy. And you won't always be able to make everybody happy. But if you come back to that person or that individual that isn't happy, and you give them that extra 10 or 20% on top of that 100%, they'll appreciate it, right? And they'll give you a chance to make it right. And then they'll be back over and over again, whether it's storing a boat or repairing, a personal watercraft or renting a boat from you. And also, you mentioned branding, like with Lakeside, it was very important to me to fly our colors, right? Like have everything uniform. You don't want to, have a little sticker on one vehicle if you're out delivering a performing service and then have a big one on the other one. I always like to have like matching white trucks, same styles, all that stuff kind of comes together in business, right? So your
Or like
brand,
two different logos, like you have the old one and the new one, and then
yeah,
everyone's confused. Like,
yeah, because you were too cheap to replace the old one.
yeah.
Yeah, it never works, it never works. So yeah, if you take all of that and then on top of it add excellent customer service, it's important to make money in business, obviously, but it's also important to let people know that you care. So if people know that you actually give a and you're out there helping these people, just like we're trying to do with what we're currently working on now with Rec Systems, it makes a world of difference in their life. I can't tell you, since I've moved to Florida, I've really experienced this of reaching out and trying to get some people on your team that you can trust to help you do repairs around the house or fix your pool or whatever the case may be, and then they don't show up when they say they're going to, they don't follow through like they say they're going to, or they try to rip you off, so to speak, on pricing. So it's always important to show up when you say you're going to show up, and then to follow through, right? If you tell somebody you're going to do something, follow through every time in any business that you're in. And then be fair on your pricing. Obviously, we want to be profitable, but at the same time, you also want to be fair. And you'll notice that those three kind of come into one nice bundle of actually being able to charge more for your service because it's more valuable, because you instilled that in your customer with your, on-time performance and excellent customer service.
For sure. And it's always an easier sale to an existing customer than a new one. So it's just all around easier.
Yeah, we're learning all about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me try my best to summarize what you've been up to the past 20 years or longer actually. So you built a really great boat rental company. You got into boat storage, you delivered boats, you did all sorts of really unique ways to get people onto the lake and off the lake. So like with all of that, tell Marco and I a really good story about a time you went above and beyond, but then it ended up really paying off. Do you have any of those in your back pocket?
Absolutely. I have one that sticks in my mind. It's a longer story if you guys have a couple minutes, but I
Yeah.
can try to refine it as much as possible. I had a wonderful customer. I had a bunch of wonderful customers, but I had a wonderful customer that was here in the area, has a house here, very prominent family, owned Wausau Homes, and stored, like 8 boats with me. And he had this Woody, probably like a $500,000 Woody, and it had twin screws in it, so 2 engines, internationals, and it was running the old Velvet Drive transmissions in it, or I'm sorry, the old Chris Craft transmission. He wanted to convert to Velvet Drive, and I was like, "This is a great project. It's going to be profitable. It's going to make the customer happy." And it took about 2 years to get this Woody converted over to Velvet Drives. We machined all the bell housing out of raw material, out of raw aluminum, and had to do all the patterns, and we got the transmissions in there, and he was ecstatic. Well, with these boats, they have the butterfly throttle on the handle, so it's like two handles, and you pull one this way for the one motor to go and one this way. So to run them evenly, you spread your fingers and it's an even throttle, and then when you shut it down, you pinch them, and that's how that works. So the whole time that he stored these boats with me, I was the only one that was ever allowed to run the Sunflower. So if he watches this video, he'll know I'm talking about him. So 37-foot Chris Craft. And I was the only one that was allowed to deliver it, and I was the only one that was allowed to load it and put it away for the winter. So to make a long story short, one winter didn't go so well. We were pulling the boat in a blizzard, which was probably my first mistake. And I had a thick winter coat on, and we had all his boats coming across, and all 5 trucks at the boat landing in Lake Tomahawk, Wisconsin. And as I was coming up to the boat landing, I went to steer the boat, and my actual cuff of my winter coat got stuck on the butterfly throttles, and that boat opened wide up, about 20 yards from the boat landing.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was something. So the boat took off. I didn't know exactly what was going on. I actually stuck the boat on the boat landing, ripped the whole bottom of it out. That was super cool. So that, yeah, so that happened. And before I even called the customer, I had gotten in my truck, and I called a place over in St. Paul. I told them what I had done. There's only a couple people in the country that actually specialize in putting new bottoms on these boats. And I got it all arranged and set up. And then that evening, I had called the customer, and I told him what had happened. And I was a little nervous, but at the same time, he's a friend of mine. And I told him what happened. And the reaction was, "You know what, Rob?" He said, "That's why I love doing business with you." He's like, "It's not about the situation. It's about how you handle the situation." And the next day, I took the forklifts after we got the boat home, and I centered it on the trailer that it goes on, and I headed off to St. Paul, and there it sat for about 8 months, and I had a whole new bottom and everything put on it. It came out better than ever. And obviously I had to eat that. That was like 80 grand. However, he continued to store with me for the rest of my time, and also everybody that he knows. So when you get a guy like this, he tells all his friends. So then all of a sudden I'm getting his cousins and their cousins, and like, I'm storing, 38 boats in this family. And he knew
Yeah.
I took a
You're
hit.
his guy.
Yeah. So, and he knew I took a hit, right? Like I didn't have to tell him. I didn't have insurance for this. I had insurance for when the hauling the boat, but not loading it. So they dodged me. So that all came out of my pocket. But he knew that was a larger hit for me, being a smaller business, a big business for around here, but boat industry business. So it was a chunk. And he made sure that his entire family after that came for us to service, boat storage. If he had people up here vacationing, this family has 6 houses on Lake Tomahawk. So when they had family come up, they'd rent like, 8 boats from us. And, that's how he paid me back, because he knew that all the money that I had just made on this 2 year retrofit for these velvet drives on this twin screw Sunflower, that had all gone out the window for me. So he came back and helped grow my business as much as he possibly could to make up for it. And, we went over that $80,000 mark in business that he brought to me afterwards. So, and to this day, I still talk to him twice a week.
That's a really good story. That's, it's funny because like when you're talking about like customer support and you start talking about like ruining a customer's boat, it's like, okay, where is this going? But at the same time, you made a perfect line of like, it's not what happens, it's like how you handle it. And
Yeah.
that's really profound, because like most people are pretty cool. Like, some people could have handled it maybe like really poorly and, got really, really upset, but like you handled it incredibly well. And so it ended up, working out for everybody. And it really is how you handle it.
Yeah, you have to follow through. You have to understand, if you're doing a high volume of anything, if you got, 60 UTVs in your rental fleet, or you're storing over 500 boats, or, you got 50 boats in your rental fleet and 60 personal watercraft, when you're juggling that kind of volume, something's going to happen. So just understand that if you do drop the ball like I did and, destroy an antique boat, that if you follow through and do the right thing, like, it's probably going to come around full circle. And the type of people that you're dealing with that own that type of boat, like, they've seen stuff happen before. Like, it's not their first rodeo. Like, they didn't get to where they were by being perfect. I promise you that. They had to learn a lot of hard lessons on the way. So if you're dealing with that kind of clientele, you follow through. And that was my point of following through. And it will come back if you do the right thing. So no matter what business you're in, just try to do the right thing and serve your customers. Do the best you can to show them the best experience possible. Try to keep your equipment up to date and avoid, as many complications as you possibly can. But there is a thing out there, and it's called human error, and it happens. So
I think that's a pretty good segue of there's the flip side of humans is AI. And that's kind of my corner of all of this stuff. And one thing that I think is pretty fascinating about the way that the world is headed is that like the old school renters and just the old school people, like they may still want to pick up the phone. They might want to do all the old school stuff, but the new type of customer is a completely different type of person. They want to have answers right away. They want to know about something at Sunday at 8 p.m. Like you never know where they're going to get their information. They don't just pick up their phone. That's like the last thing on their mind is to pick up the phone. And that's why, like, as we've been building this, I've really kept that in mind of like, of course we always want to have, like, if someone wants to pick up the phone and get an answer called, like, that's fine. But if there's like this front level in like the traditional customer support, like call centers, there's like tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 support. And the like tier 3 would be something that's just nobody knows the answer except the manager or the owner or like the operator. Like it's a really tricky question. But a lot of the stuff that people wonder about, especially the new folks that are in the market, it's so simple to just have that in a policy document somewhere. And that's where, like, as we've been building out Rex, like our AI rental copilot, like to be able to have it just answer that on the fly is, it not only eliminates the need for someone answering a phone at a certain time, it also provides better customer support, because if it's 8 a.m. on a Saturday, you might not be able to pick up the phone. And it might just be a simple of like, what do I need to bring for my rental in this afternoon, or whatever the question may be. But this new type of consumer is really used to this on-demand experience. And I think that's where like everything that we've been working on like really shines in a way that it will handle a lot of those on-demand questions. So that tier 1 and tier 2, definitely tier 1. Tier 1's super simple. Like, do I need my driver's license? But tier 2 is even like, can I bring my pet or whatever it may be? And it's pretty cool how AI can handle all that stuff now.
yeah, I love AI. What I love more than AI at this point in the game with our online booking platform for outdoor recreational vehicles powered by AI is that we have AI, but we also have human interaction. And I think it's important to have some of that. Hopefully, we can get to the point where AI becomes a confidence booster and it already is, but a powerful solution for your company, whoever's out there renting, UTVs or snowmobiles or whatever it may be. But also know that Rex Systems is available as well. And in the back end, we're going to be able to have AI support, but at the same time, if you want human support, you're actually going to be able to just flip a toggle and it'll send a ticket over to us, and one of us will get back to you because we are here to support you as well. And the AI just kind of benefits everybody. And as we evolve into this AI transformation, the way technology is going and the way AI is going to change, people's lives in the workplace, just know that we're there with you the whole step of the way. I want to transform, though, out of the AI customer service and informative pilot that we have built into Rex Systems for software updates and guidance. But I do want to switch over to Marco just for a second because he's embedded in the customer service business right now. So Marco works for a large distribution company that sells a lot of boat lifts and docks and trailers and everything else. And I know firsthand that shit breaks on a regular basis. So I just want to ask Marco, give us a story, man. Like, tell us, what's it like a week with you when somebody gets storms and it totals their lift, or, somebody's winch isn't working, or they break a cable, or the hydraulic pump goes out. Like, how's it go, man?
I think it is funny you say that. So we just got through the 4th of July and I was on vacation at my in-laws' house on Lake Fenton. Beautiful place. But I think it's funny you say the customer service aspect, then you bring in the AI aspect, and then you bring in, the human aspect. With that distribution network that we have, everyone is just straight pick up the phone in panic mode. I experience it every day. Just like, oh, my boat lift's not working. Oh, I need this. Oh, I need that. Oh, I need that. And guess what? Sometimes we don't have answers. Sometimes me as a human, I don't have an answer. And that's when I have to say, hey, I'll get back to you. I think what like the Rex Systems way is having the human contact, you can have it, but having AI, not only, it shouldn't scare you away. It should just basically be like, holy cow, I have AI on my side and I can use that to answer a lot of things. When I first started with you, Rob, and Brad, I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't huge into AI, but AI has totally transformed the way I look at things. Now, on the boat lift side and the marine side and the trailer power sports side, I mean, customer service still is key, right? You get a customer on the lake that they get a boat, they call up for a boat lift, they want this boat lift, they get it, their neighbors see it, my dock and lift guy takes care of them, or the marina takes care of them. They install it perfectly, their boat fits on it, everyone's happy. Guess what? They talk to their neighbors. They talk to, their family members. Next thing you know, shout out Shore Station, best boat lift brand out there. Drop down screen, everything. Rob, you got one. But next thing you know, the whole lake is filled with these freaking Shore Station shore screens or dock or, the best trailer out there. It's the same in every industry. So I think it's crazy you bring in, why wouldn't you want to look at AI as not only a co-pilot, but like a management, helper for your company. So, you take care of your rental people, you take care of your best customers, they're going to go out and be like, oh, there's a seamless process at, so-and-so rentals. And they're going to come back. They're going to tell your customers. I mean, like you were saying, Rob, you take care of someone the first time the right way. If you do mess up, you still take care of them. That word gets out and they'll always come back and bring more people. So
I think that's cool. So I want to just ask you, so what is it like when you roll up to Lake Fenton at the in-laws house and you got a double stack of Shore Station lifts out on the dock, and then look down the shoreline and everything says Shore Station and everybody's got the side curtains. What's it like when they all come in at the same time at night and hit the button and the lights come on under the canopy? Is it like, boop, 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 boop?
It's seamless. as you'd expect. The funny thing is Lake Fenton's not my territory. So I go to Lake Fenton and I'm like, the distributor over there, I'm like, what are they doing? They need better dealers. There is no shore station beside my in-laws, double stack looking perfect. So people are coming by and like, what's that? And I was like, yep. Well, you go in Monocle, Rob. You roll up, you got all the drop down screens. I mean, it's perfect. It's like heaven.
Yeah, I love my lift. And back to the AI part. So the way Marco described it is exactly how I feel about it. It's like having a little buddy in your pocket, but he's a warrior.
24/7 warrior.
Yeah, 24/7 warrior that can really help eliminate, second guessing. I can't tell you, it took me months, my whole life, like I got a question about this. Like, I'm going to text this guy. Like, who knows about this? I'm going to text that guy. Now I don't really even text anymore. I just I just hop on my little buddy and I ask him the question, and I get informative answers, and they are extremely helpful. So if you can build that into your rental business, and make the rental experience from selecting a unit, from selecting that Polaris RZR to adding a helmet to adding a GoPro, any upsell you want, and then getting them excited on the way out so they can chat with your rental co-pilot Rex, which we offer with Rex Systems, and also have the same thing built in on the back end so that our customer, the company renting the units, actually has 24/7 support as well, with the human option. But you're not going to need it because it's so detailed. To me, that's the ultimate combination of success.
I will say, if I had this, like what Brad coded, Rob, in my distribution job, the amount of phone calls we say like, hey, do you have this? Hey, do you have this? When can I get this? I got a question on this. I got this. We would probably get rid of about 6 to 10 employees, like just right off the bat, because no one would have to answer the phone. It'd all be real time, like inventory. What Brad created is just real time. All you do is open it up, or the customer can do it himself, and they get the answer right there, like seamlessly. I mean, that's customer service to a T.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. There's always the question where you just don't know, and you got to say like, you know what, I don't know. I'll get back to you, and that's always like a hard situation, especially if you're in like a sales situation where, like with the AI, especially with depending on who's answering the phone, the AI might know the answer. In like when I was talking about like tier 1 and tier 2, like it might even know the tier 3 where the person answering the phone might not even know that. Like if it's in the policies or in any of the training inside of our system, like it's gonna know that. It'll know the answers. So like if I want to do this on a Sunday and have my dog and I want to get a grill, like it's gonna answer all that.
Can I go over there? How many cars can I take? Exactly.
Yeah, like it's where like a normal employee would probably have to look up in the handbook or something, but it all just answers it automatically, which I think that's kind of a cool thing too, is it's not just like relieving the people from answering the phone. It might even like honestly outperform those people on the phone.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of customers out there for rentals, power sport rentals, which, they're getting. Rob, I'm not knocking on you, but you're a little bit older. I don't know, 35, 38, whatever you are. I'm a little bit younger. So I see my buddies or my friends, if they can't go online and book something and they have to call, you lose. There's not a chance that they rent it. Now, I know there's another flip side where if Rob goes and he wants to call and he's like, hey, you got my special boat for me? I need that 115 Merc on the back. I'm going to be up there. You get it ready. He's going to book with the customer. But I'll tell you what, my segment, if you're not on there, you're not on the couch and you can't Apple Pay something, you're not going to do it. Which Rex Systems has that capability, but it also has the human touch side of things. So I think that's covers all bases.
Yeah. As far as AI is concerned too, is you don't have to be intimidated by AI. Like the way that I'm looking at AI, like I always thought I was a pretty smart dude until I got into this business and I realized I have a long way to go. So
it helps when Brad's the smartest person in the planet.
Yeah. I mean, in the population. Seriously.
We
So
learn something every day, every hour.
it just it's crazy. So anyways, you got to step your game up. So the way I use AI is if I don't know the answer, you know, time is valuable, right? So like why waste your time trying to track the answer down when you can just have a conversation and get it figured out. And the way I use it is it's almost like it is an educational tool for me. So if I don't know the answer and I get the answer and it's the right answer, and I might refine my search and my question like once or twice just to make sure that I'm getting the right answer. And then that formulates and sticks in my head so that I know the answer in the future, right? So not only are you providing an intelligent answer and an intelligent, informative response to your customer, the renter, if you use it the right way, it can also expand your intellect as well as a human being and instill knowledge in you that you can, put inside and hold there for the future.
That's a really good point. And so one thing I just gotta tell a quick story. So well, two things. Part of that story is one is I think everyone, regardless of age, is starting to get to the point where they just want to do things online. Like my dad's, I don't know, what is he, 82, 81 or 82. And he like doesn't like going into the store anymore. Like he doesn't like he's all about the computer now and the internet. And his boat motor broke in the lift, like the hydraulic arm wasn't working. And so this is what I literally did. I took a picture of the boat motor of the serial number thing, and then I took a picture of the arm and I sent that in to ChatGPT and asked how to fix it. And it 20 seconds later gave me a step-by-step thing of how to fix the motor. And it told me how to debug it. I debug it, however like that would be. But I like turned one screw. This didn't work. So then that meant that it needed fluid, put fluid in it, and it worked. It was like it took no brain power whatsoever. It was pretty awesome.
That's called the trim pump.
Yeah, yeah. And so that's it was out of fluid for some reason. ChatGPT, I literally just took a picture of it and it told me how to fix it.
Regular screwdriver in the side, loosened it up, motor came down, put some fluid in it, pressurized it, ready to go.
Yep. I had to lift it a couple times. It told me step by step, lift it, put it down, do it one more time, lift it. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's crazy you brought that up. So my
Rob
buddy
had to figure that out 20 years ago.
I know.
Like
Imagine how hard that was back then. You'd need all the manuals and everything.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I have to touch on something because Brad just like enlightened me to a conversation I had with one of my good younger buddies that worked for me for 9 years before I sold my company and continues to work at Lakeside Marina here in Minocqua, but now he's the head mechanic. His name's Tyler Sharp. He grew up in mechanics his whole life, and he has grown that service department so much in the last 4 years, and a lot of it has been done through AI. So if he gets stumped while he's rebuilding a motor or actually rebuilding a trim pump, putting new seals in, carburetors, float sticking, whatever the case may be, simple stuff, but sometimes you get stuck, right? He actually talks to AI and they lay it out for him, and they've been able to do more and more major repairs, not being an actual dealer, from AI and from, having somebody that's a little younger, wants to know AI, and somebody like Tyler Sharp, who I think is like 24 and takes full advantage of it. And they actually had to build another building because of it. So
That's awesome.
And that slipped my mind, right? And then what Brad just described me was super cool because I was like, holy shit, that really is something.
Yeah. I got a ton more stories, but I think we're done for the day. I think this was a good conversation, and I'm gonna send us off, and hopefully you tune in next week for another conversation. We'll dive deeper into AI.
RexSystems.com, baby.
There you go. Rex, the rental co-pilot, is here for you. And this was Marco, Brad, and Rob.